I hate to break it to you, but after 9 years of training experience, countless dieting phases, and coaching others along the way, macro tracking is a surefire way to make dieting ineffective and frankly confusing. And in this video, I'll cover why. And if you're new here, this is why you should trust this advice. I'm not a full-time fitness coach, I'm a financial analyst in London, and so everything I talk about on here are principles that are actually realistic for the average person and not some crazy strategy that would take up your whole life. But let's not waste any more time and get straight into why macro tracking is destroying your progress. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. You're probably not tracking macros anywhere near as accurately as you think. By law, food labels are allowed to be off by 20%, so even if you think you're doing everything right, by following a macro tracking approach, you could be hundreds of calories off every single day. And now if you layer in real life, it becomes infinitely harder to be accurate. The meal that looked healthy that you had in a restaurant and tracked as 400 calories could easily be 800 to 1200 depending on cooking oils, glazings, and sauces. The handful of nuts you forgot to log was another 200, the milk in your coffee another 100, and before you know it, your deficit's completely gone. And here's where the main problem lies. Macro tracking reinforces the idea that a calorie is a calorie, and if it fits your macros, it's fine. Technically, on paper, yes, a calorie is a calorie, but practically speaking, it's a pretty awful strategy to get lean. Treating foods as just numbers on a screen shifts your focus to purely hitting calories and protein, and away from food quality, micronutrients, digestion, and satiation. And so you're left hungrier with low energy and struggling to perform in the gym. Your training intensity declines, you struggle to recover, and metabolic output also declines, which leaves you dropping calories further in the battle to continue losing weight. But let's say you do track 100% accurately. There's still one huge issue we need to talk about. Tracking macros is mentally exhausting. The highlight of my day is leaving the office at lunch to see bankers and lawyers who make million-dollar decisions stand staring at the sandwich section, trying to piece together macros on meals to figure out what to eat. And by tracking macros, you have to do this 4 times a day, every single day. And so what happens is you inevitably end up making poor decisions, getting overwhelmed and thinking, well, whatever, I'll just get this and be done with it. Or you blow 90% of your calories before 2 p.m. and then get to 9 p.m. and figure out what meal you're going to have that will give you 100 grams of protein, 2 grams of fat, and 1.957 grams of carbs so you hit your macros. And I think this is the worst part of macro tracking, especially when you already have cravings that you're struggling to manage or you're incredibly stressed, as ultimately you will want to sneak poorer food choices into your diet. And this is exactly why I created 8 Days to Smarter Gains. It removes all of the guesswork and it's completely free. It shows you how to structure training, nutrition, and daily habits so you can get lean without struggling with the process. And you can grab it for free in the description. But okay, we've moaned for the last 5 minutes of the video. What should you do instead? It's pretty simple. You need to remove the decision making. If you're a beginner, you should have a fixed meal structure. Eat the same meals or variations of them. When eating out, add a 300 to 400 calorie buffer to whatever you think you're eating. And if you're adamant at macro tracking, stop front loading your calories. Eat lighter earlier in the day and save more for the evening. And when you put all of this together, fat loss becomes far more sustainable and not an additional burden you have to deal with on top of everything else on your plate. If you got value from this, drop a like, subscribe, and share this with someone who swears by macro tracking to wind them up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.